Jordan, if you went back to the 1880s and visited a place called Hollywood, you wouldn't find movie stars or red carpets. You would find a strictly religious community where alcohol was banned, and the main attraction was a massive field of apricot trees.
Wait, so the town built on sex, drugs, and rock and roll actually started as a dry religious colony? That feels like a punchline.
It's the ultimate irony. Today, we're looking at how a failed utopian real estate project became the most powerful cultural export in human history. In 1887, Harvey Henderson Wilcox and his wife, Daeida, subdivided their 160-acre ranch near the Cahuilla Pass. Harvey wanted a temperate, sober community for his fellow Midwesterners. Daeida actually chose the name Hollywood after meeting a neighbor at her summer home back east who had an estate by that name.
So it wasn't even named after local plants? They just liked the sound of it?
Exactly. For the next 20 years, it was just a quiet suburb of Los Angeles. People grew lemons and grain. But by 1910, the town faced a major water shortage and had to vote to be annexed by the city of Los Angeles just to get access to the Owens River water supply.
Okay, so they have water now, but how do we get from lemons to cameras? Why didn't everyone just stay in New York or New Jersey where the money was?
That's where the villain of our story comes in, Thomas Edison. Back east, Edison owned the patents on almost all motion picture technology through his motion picture patents company, often called the Movie Trust. He sued anyone who tried to make a movie without his permission.
So filmmakers were basically fleeing from Edison's lawyers? Is that why they picked a spot 3,000 miles away?
Partially. If an Edison process server showed up, you could literally run across the border to Mexico in a few hours. But practically, California offered 300 days of sunshine a year. In 1910, cameras needed massive amounts of natural light to get a clear image. You couldn't get that in a rainy New Jersey winter. The real shift happens in 1911. David Horsley's Nestor Studio rents an old tavern on the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Gower Street. They turn it into the first permanent film studio in Hollywood. Suddenly, the floodgates open.
I'm guessing the religious locals weren't exactly thrilled about a bunch of theater people moving in next door.
They hated it. Hotels even put up signs that read, "No dogs, no actors." But the money was too good to ignore. By 1915, filmmakers realized that the varied geography of Southern California could simulate any location in the world. You had the ocean, the desert, the mountains, and the city all within a 30-mile radius.
It's like a natural green screen before green screens existed. So when does Hollywood become the industry we recognize today?
After World War I, the Big Five studios, Paramount, RKO, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers, and Lowe's Inc., consolidate power. They create the studio system. This wasn't just making movies, it was an industrial assembly line. They owned the stars, the equipment, the distribution, and even the theaters where the movies played.
That sounds like a total monopoly. They literally own the people.
Pretty much. If you were a star like Betty Davis or Clark Gable, the studio told you what to wear, who to date, and what movies to work on. If you refused, they suspended you without pay and forbade any other studio from hiring you. This golden age lasted until 1948, when the Supreme Court finally stepped in and told the studios they had to sell off their theater chains.
And then comes the big threat, right? The little glowing box in everyone's living room.
Television almost killed Hollywood in the 1950s. To fight back, the studios went widescreen and started making epics like Ben-Hur, things you simply couldn't experience on a small 12-inch TV. They also realized they could make money by producing the TV shows themselves.
So they adapted. But what about that famous sign? It didn't always say Hollywood, did it?
Good catch. In 1923, a real estate developer built the Hollywoodland sign to advertise a new housing tract. It was only supposed to stay up for a year. By the 1940s, it was falling apart. The city removed the land part in 1949 to reflect the district, not the housing development, and it eventually became the symbol of the dream itself. Today, Hollywood is less a physical place and more a global brand. Most major studios have actually moved their primary filming locations to places like Santa Clarita or even Georgia and London for tax breaks, but Hollywood remains the shorthand for the American imagination.
It's wild that a religious colony meant to be a quiet escape became the loudest, flashiest place on earth. It feels like the definition of the American dream, reinventing yourself until you're unrecognizable.
It really is. It's a town that manufactures mythology while becoming a myth itself. It survived the Great Depression, the rise of TV, and the digital revolution. Even if the movies are streaming on your phone now, they still carry that Hollywood DNA of spectacle and storytelling.
What's the one thing to remember about Hollywood's history?
Hollywood didn't start with glitz and glamour. It began as a sober religious retreat that only became a movie capital to escape Thomas Edison's patent lawyers.
That's Wikipodia, every story on demand. Search your next topic at wikipedia.ai